Hi everybody, my name is Jess, your go-to Road to Kingdom dance analyst, and we are here for the unit battles, fire versus ice. I'm excited for this. So I have somebody on Patreon that has been so incredible about breaking down the rules, even before I even take a look at the episode, so I can go in with as much information as possible to be a really good steward of my analysis for these battles. And so what we're looking at here is we're going to look at the fire in the fire and water, and pick our top 3 aces that stood out with each. They're their separate rankings, and I know they receive a point benefit that will help for their challenge that will hopefully get them into the finale. So without further ado, I'm pumped. I hope you are. Let's get into it. Framework. Who got center first? Oh, ATBO. Or Mr. Crew 1 got this spot in the center. I bet it was an audition spot too. Ooh. Wow, an entire minute of a feature. That is an home field advantage. That's a huge advantage for an ace on an ace challenge like that. Ooh. Ah. Wow! Okay. CRAVITY picks a good ace for this. Notice most of the guys have blonde hair and it washes out. BPM changes, Lord. That outfit is so expensive, but that's an all chrome heart fit. Goodness, that's expensive. I see why we break the framework. Breaking the framework of the rhythm and the BPM. Wow. So interesting. I would say CRAVITY and 8 turns, aces. Really, really well done. And what I find surprising is with my Crew 1 ace, he had a whole minute, yet he didn't captivate me in the same degree as CRAVITY and 8 turns did. Could it just be, once again, preference on the type of expected charisma that I was expecting on the track, and how they chose to go about it was more my preference? Maybe it could be that. I also think with Crew 1, just personally with my feature here in the beginning, some of his choices did have a bit of awkward phrasing, but that could just be the movement quality of what he was asked to do. So I don't really, you know, I'm allowed to be constructive. I'm a dance analyst, right? That's my job. But I think everybody held it down really well. It makes it really fun whenever you're trying to find, like, who are my top 3 aces? It's not clear. I would say 2 out of my 3 picks are very clear to my preference, but my third spot could go to literally anyone, which makes it fun. So yeah, I'm gonna say for this one, I'm gonna go with, which is different picks than the water one. Water one, I had one as an ATBO, and then I think I ended up with 8 turn as my third, just based on whoever's features their line distribution with it, or ATBO, sorry, Crew 1, because that's who he's repping under. Crew 1. Now with this, I said it was CRAVITY. He also felt more like an ace in the team challenge, which was the note that I gave to the whole CRAVITY set. And then I'm gonna give it to 8 turn for that too. So I could see 8 turn scoring pretty high in both of these out of all the groups. I could see possibly ONEUS as well pulling potentially high. Maybe, I don't know. This is so interesting though. Okay, from the top. So he has this whole beginning to himself, twinkling it in. He opens it up, boom, boom. This beginning is very captivating. I like the ISO. And then he connects the hand with the knee, which is really nice. Ding, 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 ding. I like the brokenness of that. Then he goes and melts it down, does a little thread through. But notice that some of his choices through click, 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 and then as he transitions through a thread, it doesn't feel like he's loosening up his body to match the thread choice. It feels like he's keeping up with the stiffness for the next staccato isolated movement. So I think for me, I'm not seeing as much of a texture shift in the phrasing as much of my preference that I would wish to see on a solo moment. And even melting down was fine. Doesn't that remind you, if you watch Stage Fighter, that reminds me of literally 2 out of 3 choreography challenges we've been seeing, is that right there. Maybe it's that. I have such a saturation of the other Mnet show affiliated with dance going on that it's so hard for me to separate from that, which is totally fine. Accent there is fine. He's hitting everything. Very clear. Throws it down. I love how we're killing it in the back. And he brings it through. The kick was cool. He hits it over. The kick is also really nice. I could see the fact that because he had this whole opening, he could pull a higher score because of his natural, we see him, right? But did he keep my attention? Unfortunately, no. Not more so than others, I think is my note. Even though I had all of this in the beginning, he hits it down. Notice it does feel very subtle in our resets. Could it be choreographic preference? Could that be just how he executes the choreo? There's a slew of factors in this. Hey, shout out to whoever put his sunglasses in his hair. It ain't moving at all. I need to know what hairspray they use, because that is freaking awesome. The hit is there, but we didn't quite do a full dolphin where it goes from the chest down, kind of cut it off at the hip. So that'd be my note there. We come back up, rotating it through. Didn't feel like a full rotation before we dropped it. The punch there, boom and boom. It felt like we flung the arms down, but we didn't invest in torso. That's the little things I'm talking about, where we have a lot of these extremities in play, meaning my arms and my legs are really going for it in the movement, but it feels a bit on the stiffer side in the torso, which I find fascinating compared to my guy. I've seen him in other ace challenges, right? And I don't quite see that as much there, but maybe for here, it was what he was asked to do, and maybe it's just not falling well for me. We're just gonna chalk it up to that. But anyway, the punch there, he accents through. I like the fullness of that, and I bet you it is hot on that set because everything's on fire. It's red, you're in dark clothing. It is not gonna feel the same as that water. I bet the guys on the water stage were cold. So anyway, he accents through, he goes up, melts it through, and also when he really cocks it back like that, it's really hard to know what he was trying to hit on that. So that's my note there. We come up. Goodness gracious. Here we go. Now, we begin. And technically, right here. He opens. Man, really good start. Just from the subtle looking at the audience. That is captivating to me. because he hits it. You barely see him, but he's like, but I see you. It's what is it? It's deceptively teasy, right? And that's something that really can leave a residual effect of captivation. And also for me, I was looking at the fits too. That chrome hearts ain't cheap. I'm telling you, if you know, you know. The melts were really cool. I love the personality of, oh, welcome, you know? Like the charisma on that, they accent up, down. And side note, we got to talk about this stage. It's really cool, but it feels way bigger and more complete than what I noticed from CRAVITY's. Which, side note, Lovities, I'm really glad that you guys were very receptive to my feedback to CRAVITY's set on the T mission. If you hadn't seen it, please, it's on YouTube already. I should have it. Maybe I'll try to put it in the description, but it's on the playlist on the end screen. You can go find it there. But I had a lot of constructive notes, and none of it, like I said, has anything to do with CRAVITY. Just like most of my notes here it's just subjective preference on this. It's not the same as the kind of criteria that we're normally used to operating from with other shows. So keep that in mind too. But yeah, CRAVITY, really, it was really unfortunate that we didn't have a lot of time because they were being so overworked. They're pulling an AT schedule right now. To where their stage wasn't able to really bring it to the caliber that we know they can do. And part of that is on the entertainment agency, if I'm being honest. So that's my big note there. But I love the fact that we have one of our CRAVITY aces standing out here. And good for him. Like, I'm actually really proud of him for that. But this is 8 turns ace. I know that. But that was just kind of my little side point I wanted to make. That this stage looks more complete than CRAVITY's stage was. I'm walking forward. Lidl, it was a very good choice to have ONEUS pick Lidl as the ace for the fire challenge. I was surprised they did not pick him as an ace earlier, whenever it was to work with 2 for, what is it, No Diggity, but I also understand there's certain mechanics and logistics of the No Diggity set from ONEUS that caused the aces to be selected the way they were. So I understand all of that, but great choice here. They go down, up, which is cool. And they go boom, boom. I really love that little just extra clunky pulsed reverb to drop down. It's really cool. I dig it through, which is nice. You have Hyung Sok. So he doesn't inherently stand out aggressively to me. Could it be because of his fits or how his camera angles are being shot? Like, he's not even in frame here, but it's his feature. But now he's there. You know what I mean? That bulldozer, he throws it. And Lidl literally has a size up compared to everybody else, which I think is really can be very helpful on shots like this. Then boom, nice little accent there. Goodness gracious. Yeah, Taeyong, very charismatic in how he presents himself. It is very competitive in this particular choreography. Now let's actually look at the choreo. They take it over, out. I'm basically doing 2 types of analysis right now. One is performance direction analysis and one is choreography. So I may have to dial back a couple times like this, so I'm sorry for that. But here, I like how we take it and we throw it over to the next side. Then from here, he takes it and crosses over. I like this mirrored effect right here. And it gives a good, honestly, opportunity for Lidl to basically be like, look, I could have pulled that front and center energy, but we gave it to so-and-so from crew 1, but I can hold it down just as much as he can. Like, there's a lot of psychological kind of thought processes we as an audience can think. Just depends on who you're a fan of, who you, aren't a fan of. Some people just aren't fans of groups, and that's okay, you know? So I think this could work in Lidl's favor to a certain degree, and I like how they have this accented bass on the tail end of that, which is cool. I like how they pick it up. I like the just the legato rotation of the hip as they go and travel it back, and then this little body roll right here at D. We're picking it up. I love that choice with a step there, and we take the leg and we step front to outside, and we take that arm and then we swing it as well. It's really, really nice. Then he has his little moment, yeah, which we're here for. The switch up there is really nice. We go take the arms, we go high to low. I like the levels on that. So Lidl, once again, he is entering into our shot pretty quickly after his feature, which I would say frequency, and the more exposure we're going to have of somebody, the more we're going to want to watch him. Just like having Mr. Crew 1 take an entire minute of this set just for him, very, very competitive for him just to have that alone is really helpful. Then they throw here, so then we have LEW. And I like how he has his moment. He goes and brings it up, and we have these subtleties on the outside. Just the absence of movement right here is really captivating too. Do you know what I mean? It's just how we're making the choices when we're being still. It's really, really cool. So he has this moment, the pull right there. Ugh. We hit it through 1, 2, 3, 4. We hit and bring it to the other side. Then we go accent, accent. right there with our, I think we're hitting with our triceps, right? And then we bring the energy up and we trace it over the side. Then we have our motion, we go and we bring it down and we end up rotating it with the shoulder and we go. I love this choice where we go and branch it over. Now notice, we don't have a technical close-up of Taeyong here, but he still naturally catches my attention. And it's not because he's in red. Everyone's in red. He's actually in black and a lot of people are in black. What is it? Probably his posture and preference for me of who I look for on a concept like this. He's a good pick, a great pick from CRAVITY, if I'm telling you right now. Probably one of the best picks they could have done. It's so nice. Boom, 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 boom. I really like the pulses on that. We go down to up. Passion, passion, and then we go into a BPM change. Come on, and then we twinkle it in. Explosion party of us. We drop it down over the brick wall. And we dig, dig. Really, really nice where we're having our energy with our elbow and we create a fullness with our knees. Now also keep in mind our 8-turn ace is someone that our audience, I'm assuming, is pretty familiar with because of his captivating intro stage, right? So I would say the intro stage guys tend to have a really good tone setter, if it's safe to assume the audience is aware of them. And so it makes sense why they had him be an ace here, because he has that natural standout and people are going to be captivated, or they have been captivated by him in the past. And so having Taeyong hold his own and sometimes kind of steal this, not steal the spotlight, but can capture your attention a little bit longer. Could be feature, could be a multitude of factors. Can also attest to, well, if he can, you know, direct my attention to him next to somebody that normally has my attention, then normally sometimes we subconsciously can elevate their position of ranking in our heads because of this own hierarchy of expectation we have for the members here. But that, once again, could just be my personal expectations that I've set. I'm not projecting that on anyone or in any way, shape, or form. At the end of the day, we should be so proud that they were prepping for team battles as well as units. That is so much work to go into, especially the guys that are in these units, to have to hold it down here and then hold it down in their own team, and all the points matter. It's a lot of responsibility to be an ace on the show. So I'm very proud of them for this. This was really cool. Da 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 da. And then we have this little reverb there. Boom, boom. I love that shove down. Flame on. And then we go break, what is it? Tempo. A little hat ISO on that. Then we go break the frame. Yeah. And then we take it over. Game sock. Settle. Un. Changer. And then double it up. Changer. And then he has his moment here. It's these subtleties in his conversation with his face that when we get a close-up of it, it really sells his perspective. That right there, subtlety, killer. Then this right here, we have a ton of fullness coming out from Crew 1, right? We accent, bow, break it, all the framework. Yeah, frame, and then it works. Yep. Oh, and I love the fullness of that head on that too. Looks great. And we hit up. Framework, framework. Ends up tripling it here. And then we have Oljun Sok. And then right here, he does have a lot of fullness, which is great. We love it. But everybody's full. Is what do you do in that fullness that kind of makes me go, oh, I love the choice you made within your fullness. That's kind of the preference on that, right? So this was cool. Then you have Hyung Sok here. The throw is fine. Could it be the type of fit that he's wearing? There's not a lot of textiles outside of just the basic fit of the red and the black. Maybe that could just be a reason, but also some people have gloves, some people don't, so we can't really factor that in as much, but his whole hand is covered, so I wonder if that may be something that works against him too. I'm just trying to troubleshoot. It's so fascinating where our eye naturally wants to go and trying to just figure out why that is. It's taken as long as we have, but I think that's so fascinating, right? And I'm so curious about y'all's thoughts too in the comments here, because I'm wondering if you guys feel the same as I, or if you looked at completely different people. I want to know why. And I feel like we're learning so much about people just by a challenge like this. What a great experiment, honestly, to do a unit challenge like this, because everybody gets some love and some time to shine, which I find to be oh so fun. But anyway, he presents forward. I like the mirroring where we go and we frame it over. Haha, break the frame. And we have the little pull there. Don't stop. Don't stop. Really nice. And then you have Lido right here. Come on now. Boom. Passion, passion, passion. And then we go break the frame. And I love how we literally pop off there. It's really nice. Now he is taking that second chorus, holding it down very well. And we go flame on. And then we go tempo. And we have this over it, right the frame, what is it, right the framework. And then we have another feature, one of my other aces that stands out. He's now in the center. So could be for a lot of important moments for me for a concept like this, though they are just strategically in those positions, just maybe not coincidentally. I feel like it was auditioned. We go up there, it goes, oh, and then we go bring it down. We have this accent with the shoulder and the percussion, breaking all the, so we take it out and then we pick it up and we throw. And then he just does a little trace on his body. Goodness gracious, my guy. Everyone's missing fabric. Let's call it what it is. I think it's funny. Then we do a little hit them folks there, framework. So that was nice and I appreciated that moment. It was full. Then we have Lou coming in, his walk. He also has a very expensive fit. Goodness, I wish I could afford that, but your girl gotta pay rent. But I like how we kind of bounce through it is really nice. The swish, swish, swish is really nice. Heartbeat, feeling crazy, and this nice little pulse on the tail end. Look who's there, Myung-ho is, and then you have Oh Jun-suk here. And then you have Taeyong. So it's all like peeking through to different moments. I would say Hyung-suk, he stands out in a good way. Right there is nice, which you're here for. The turn through is nice and burning. And then we go break it down. I like the ticking. And then we go break the frame. And then notice what happened. We started removing some clothes, showing a different little bit of ourselves, right? Which is interesting. I love that choreo with the little step through on the heel is so fascinating. Then he goes framework when they pulls through. Nice. And then he has set me free. Set me free. Now, maybe it's because how he's choosing to create his character. I'm talking about Crew 1's ace. How he's going about it. It doesn't feel as convincing as some of my other guys. Like I would say Myung-ho is a very convincing person on this type of concept. And that is part of the challenge, is these groups got to pick who is going on the water and fire stages, who matches these sets the best. And I think some teams have members that are very clear as to who fits the vibes. And then other members, it may just kind of be a member wants to do it and it may not work out as much against the competitiveness of others' natural movement and presentation of their stage and character. I don't know. It's so interesting. It's a battle of strategy on what type of fire-based performer of each group is going to be the taste of the audience. For me, I have my taste and preference, but once again, I come from an American Western lens where everybody here is good and can execute all the movement great. What's going to stand out? It's going to be what I'm naturally drawn to when I hear something like this, right? So my opinion may be so different than the Korean public or anything, but then you have Lou have his moment, and I love the pulsing right there on the tail end. We go and throw it there, and I like the little, I think we've heard that called a V-step, gangsta two-step, so many different things you can call that, but where you go and you twist on the heel on the front leg as you go and shoot that leg behind you is really fun, and I like how it's subtly syncopated too. Look at the pyrotechnics. Perfect place to just pyrotechnic the mess out of a set. And I like the throw on the tail end of that. And then here, we didn't need to pull up no shirt, but because of the fit of his jacket, it looked like he did, didn't it? Very smart on the stylist choice. But then it also makes me think, are the stylists, do they get to pick the fits? Or was it just the same stylist and they just did it and wherever the cards fell, they fell, right? Now with the little hit there, let's go, framework. Then we pick it up over to the side, having their moment. Then they end up doing it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then they double it up on the first side again. And they go, nah, 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 nah. We rotate it through. So much fire everywhere, which is the fire stage. It's really, I mean, this is an expensive stage, goodness. Then they go and I like the little drop down. Now, is there a lot of unison? Yeah, for here. But remember, this is not tailored to a fixed cam perspective. Our audience is looking at videos. They're not looking at a live fixed cam. So it makes so much sense why they're structured the way that they are. Do you know what I mean? Which is cool. And they go rotate it to the inside. Well, maybe did the audience see this live? I don't know. I really don't think so. I think they just saw this based on what I was told. And then they also showed the teams and their full versions, which is why we analyzed what we did, because they didn't have this, they don't have a fixed cam of this, and that's fine. But I like how they finish up. Absolutely fine. I would say he's going to be an ace for me. He's an ace for me. Lido, I can see. He's like an honorable mention. I can give him an honorable mention. And then for me, it's kind of, I don't know, for the amount of time I saw him, he didn't captivate me as much. And so in my head, because of who I am, I kind of itemize if the checks and balances on somebody's amount of time on my screen that is supposed to be my focal point, how well do they captivate me? He didn't captivate me as much for the amount of time he was given as much as Leto did in his amount of time he was given. When I'm going off of proportions, if I'm going to take a vote, so I would probably go off of ONEUS more so than Crew 1 here, but he must have done, I mean, everybody's freaking great. Like, this is a fantastic stage. They should be so proud of this. And this was so fun. Like, to me, these units are so fascinating, and it just makes me just a whirlwind of curiosity as to who is going to win these, because everyone should be proud, and it wouldn't surprise me any which way. Personally, I mean, of course I have my preferences, like I said, but that's all they are, preferences. And so I'm very much looking forward to, if you're a fan of a group, which other ace has caught your attention outside of your own ace, because I think it would be strange if your group that you root for didn't catch your attention, because you're naturally wanting to root for them. But, you know, I don't know, I could just be digressing, but this was so fun. Thank you guys so much for watching. I am doing full episode deep dives in analysis and just refined feedback on Patreon. If that interests you at all, you don't have to go over there. We're always having a great time in the comments there, as well as on YouTube, and I do my best to release things in a timely manner for you guys if they are active shows, such as Stage Fighter here with Road to Kingdom Season 2, Ace of Ace, and Street Woman Fighter Vietnam are kind of my hot and ready to go live kind of shows, which is really fun for me. And yeah, all that to say, I'm just really glad to be here hanging out with you guys. You guys know me, I know you. I'm Jess, and I will catch you on the flip side. Bye.